What up? What up? What up? It's your boy, the coach. We don't jump straight into it, all right, on this snowy day. This is the HGF Emerald Circle Live. Same day, same time. This is not to motivate you, this is to instruct structure. And today we're going to speak about metaverse sovereignty, all right? This is about ownership, agency, and who controls your digital body. You are not here to learn about the metaverse, all right? You are not here to learn about the metaverse. You are here to forge your place inside of it. What up to my LB fam? What up to all my Uplift fam? C heads, garden gnomes, everyone. Let's get it. True digital presence require radical and decentralized ownership of your self-sovereign avatar. All right. So your avatar in the metaverse is your body, but it's not your skin. All right. If you cannot move it freely across worlds, across metaverses, you do not own it. All right. Ask yourself, who really owns your digital identity right now? Right. So I'm part of a metaverse, and I'm talking about my experiences, right, and what I'm going through. So I'm part of a metaverse that's called Upland, right, Web3. I truly believe that this is the future for creators, right, to own their IP, right, and Upland is one of these ones is in the forefront that I believe that's trying to make sure that we could take our assets from one location, metaverse or Facebook group or whatever you want to call it to another location. Actually, they're spearheading the movement with Omni 3. It's an alliance of the top metaverses around the world that's trying to come up with a standard protocol. So you could use one asset in one metaverse and then the same asset and take it into another. And this is true ownership, right? If you're doing something or you're looking into a web-based game, web3 based game, and they're not talking about using your assets, that they're yours and you could take them somewhere else, or that's not at least in their plan, run. All right, because in the metaverse, man, you will see that being able to take your assets different locations and different um metaverses and use them in real life, it really equals leverage. Because if you're only contained to one location, like wearing buying a shirt in real life, but if you could only wear that shirt to work and you can't wear it nowhere else, it kind of gives you a limited feel of where you can spend your money and where you can wear your idea. I mean your clothing. I'm sorry. And that's the same way in Web3, right? You want to be able to utilize your assets, your creations and your IP to be able to use it wherever you want to go. And that's one of my main um, focal points moving forward is to make sure what I create in one, hopefully, and we never know, that I will be able to take those same assets that I create, just like social media, and use them in another Web3 world. And again, this is something that the CEOs of Upland is working to bring to reality, right? They're working with other metaverses, other Web3 programs to come up with some type of asset protocol that will work for the creator. So if you're looking for something in Web3, make sure it gives you the leverage. What's going on, Gary? LB in the house. Make sure they're talking about giving the creator, because that's what it's ultimately about. The creator, right? I'm in this Web3 metaverse world as a creator. I take part of the community, but I'm looking to see how I can infuse my real life brand, bringing assets in real life into this web based game, this metaverse, right? So definitely look at these different avenues when you're researching, because I truly believe anyone out there, a content creator, we need to monetize our IP, right? And make sure that we control it. So the last thing, as far as ownership, is sovereignty is designed, not granted. No corporation will hand you the digital freedom. You either architect it or you rent your existence forever. So again, no corporation, Upland, any sandbox, decentraland rather, will hand you digital freedom. You have to architect it or you rent your existence forever. So let's take out let's go to the rent the existence forever part, right? So when we join these platforms, we're part of their existence. We're part of their world, right? So once we become part of their world, we're either become known as XYZ from this place. If you're just partaking in the community, right? If you're not looking on ways of how to architect your brand, architect your ideas in this platform. For example, um, I've been in Upland for about 4+ years, from times where we could only buy and sell properties, right? That was the main thing. And they added on treasure hunting to earn the end game currency in the game through a action based game, right? But it took time, and they kept giving us hints. Again, be mindful of the platforms that you're using, because in order to grow, they have to give you some type of hints to how to evolve. And I can say, since I've been in Upland, they have been giving us hints that they're going to focus on a community based method, right? A community or a world building city game, right? But within that world building city game, they want to focus on communities, building up certain communities with IP, map assets, um, user generated content, right? So that always stood in the back of my mind when they release new um, new experiences, right? So I had the opportunity to either build up one area in this game, and y'all seen it, I put it on everything, every evergreen 7-8, or build up multiple areas in this game, and there's multiple amazing communities in this game. Great leadership. What's up, Coach T? Appreciate you. Um, and that's what it is about, correct? It's about the communities, right? So I look at this as somewhat as a Facebook, right, or a social media platform where there's multiple personalities within this community, this platform, right? But this platform gives the creator, now this where it comes into architecting your future. Upland gives the creator the platform to dream and to be able to create things that we normally couldn't do in real life. But here's the twist: we get to connect it to the things that we do in real life. For my LB fam, I'm learning what we're learning in LB to connect my real life brand, HGF, with real life and in the metaverse. And for me, that's kind of hard, right? Especially getting help from individuals that's not partaking in the metaverse portion. But that doesn't stop it, because what's going on? What's going on? That doesn't stop it, because we all are creators, all right? So you don't need to participate in a particular platform to actually help a person out. You know, it's still the same methodologies. It's just how creative we get. So, and being a creative, we could get real creative with your creativity. That was a tongue tie, but yeah. So just remember, when you enter these types of platforms, you're either going to become a part of that community and rent your existence forever, or you're going to architect it. So my question is for my Upland family is, are you the architect of your legacy in Upland? So a reflection, where in your digital life are you a guest instead of an owner? Think about that. In Upland, where in your digital life in Upland are you the guest and you're not the owner? That's powerful. There's nothing wrong with being a guest, right? This is a signal. This is because of you're here because you want to hear something that might take you to another mindset, right? This is not for everyone, and I get it. So if you pop in and pop off, salute. The ones that stay, let's go. So what's the problem? The digital landscape is fragmented into I can't even get it out there. It's fragmented into silos that exploit attention and claim ownership over identity. Silos are present with a good user experience. And Upland has demonstrated this methodology, right? You could come in Upland and become part of a silo and just become part of the digital identity, experience. Every 6 weeks they have a different season tied to different events, right? So are you just part of the seasonal events? Are you or are you the architect of your digital identity, and are you creating assets that go along with Upland's seasonal events every season? So we know it's 5 seasons, right? So are you creating for my Upland people map assets for different seasons? Are you creating structure ornaments for the community and your creativity to provide a need in this particular universe? Are you becoming a architect? Are you becoming a brand? Are you infusing your creativity into the metaverse? And if you're not, it's okay. Just know you're just a guest. You're a guest. You're taking part of the activities. And again, everyone is not a creator. Everyone is not going to come in here and have a factory or a showroom or have at least 50,000 sparklet. That's our cryptocurrency, by the way. But if you are one of the ones that has a showroom, a factory, it's time for you to architect your future, architect your brand. If you don't know how, ask. You have the tools, right? And that's the start. So, smooth interfaces hide the fact that your data, audience, and identity are trapped, right? Upland's interface is amazing, right? And it's layered. It's definitely layered. For the ones that don't worry about building, they're going to continue to be on that loop, right? Do this, achieve this, receive that. And it's a great loop. You get mm, countless rare assets, but you're part of the game. And my goal is to be attached to Upland, right? To use Upland as my sandbox, just like the corporation Upland is doing. We just have to sit back, watch the loop that they're presenting us, network, share ideas, and figure out how we can technically infuse our brand, what we're trying to do in Upland and outside of Upland into one. We're doing it now, right? For my LB fam, it's no difference of finding ways to infuse our brand on social media, on Substack, on IG, on Instagram, right? We go through these sequences, find ways to best promote our brand. There's no difference of doing that and creating assets for our brand in the metaverse. It just gives our community something tangible that they will remind themselves of our brand. daily because upland is something that it is layers, right? So attention extraction is the business model, right? Attention extraction is the business model. Platforms do not serve creators, right? They harvest behavior. Think about this. I'm going to say this slow. Platforms do not serve creators. They harvest behavior. If attention is currency, who is getting rich? Now, Upland is a little different because they want the creator to stand out. They even asked us, they need our help. They're promoting contests that have us creating, on social media. Prime example that they need our help, the community, is the Uppy Leisure, where we just Upland released their digital residents, right, for the game that they're going to be part of the game, and they asked the community to share their favorite one and use X Grump to, to do some AI stuff with it, right? So they're using that loop to get us to promote and be creative for them to attract more people, right? So that's why I said Upland is a little bit different. However, they're not speaking about using the platform the way some of the leaders are, like this way. Upland is a huge sandbox and it's at our disposal. We could do a lot of stuff that we might not realize. And I'm testing the limits, and I suggest that my Upland family test the limits. And I'm going to work with some of my LB fam to help them test the limits of what type of sandbox and how powerful it can be if used correctly, right? So, what's going on, Lightning? So, identity theft is normalized, right? So, when a platform owns your account, they own your presence. What happens when they flip the switch? That's a good question, right? Um, where that's for any social media platform, um, anything that we do, because we sign up, we have people sign up under us or whatever the case may be, but the platform technically owns your information. So what would happen to you if Upland turns off the switch? Now, I'm not wishing this on Upland, right? But it's reality, especially where I come from in the internet world. We've seen it in Upland, the Dev 2 shops. Things come open, run for a while, and they're gone, right? So how can we control our information? How can we control our our um our database if something happens to Upland? Um, I don't know your particular, business. I could just share with you of how I attempted to do it um, from get go. Right, I started off with a NFT project on Wax 42. So that was one of my ways of controlling the initial 42 individuals that I met. I could get in contact with them. I know their wallet information if something happens, right? But along that process of these 4 years in Upland, I still wanted to find a way where it was not too salesy um, and intrusive, and it was more self volunteer. The people volunteered their information, right? So that's why I came up with the Creators Hub, my website, my membership site, right? Because now I have this information. It's somewhere off of Upland. It's somewhere off of Discord. And if something happens, people could get in contact with me. Um, we could continue to build and be creative until we realize or know where we have to relocate or start a new plan, right? But the fact is, some way, somehow, as creators and being the architect of our business, In this sandbox, which is Upland, we have to find a way of how we can control our narrative, how we can control our our database, whether it's like we're prime example for my LB fam, right? The way our mentor controls us in her database is with Lions behavior, with her membership site. Now from there, that's our meeting place, that's our meetup, right? And from there, we could go anywhere. If something happened in any platform, social media, any AI tool we use, if something goes wrong with that, we would know where to meet up. And that's what I would suggest that all us as creators do. Think about what is your home base. Build a list. It could be an email list. Some people build huge email lists. But again, if you're just using Upland as your one-stop shop, you're already losing. All right, because no platform is your one-stop shop. It's not. It's a platform. It's a sandbox. And don't let the shiny wheels and shiny bells make you remember forget rather. We are here to make money. We're here to have fun as creators, as brands. We're here to figure out a way of how we can infuse what we're doing right now, whether it's a talk show, whether it's a membership site. How can we put in our brand in the game? With that being said, I was looking on X today, right? And I saw Elijah, and I didn't realize this. He actually had a cart. I don't know if it's from a creator in Upland or he created it, but it's this eco wind blower and leaf blower cart that he has in the game, right? And it looks like a riding mower. But today in the snow, he went out there and took a video of a eco blower that he referenced to as in Upland as a asset, as a cart that he races with. And he tied them together to real life, product where he was using it, blowing it, the snow out the way, and then he referenced the picture of the exact replica of that machine as a court in Upland. And that's what I'm saying. Like you can bring real life assets in the game and build your brand, right? It could be a talk show. I created the first fantasy basketball league. Yeah, it was cool. Like I didn't put two and two together until I saw that. I'm like, wow. I didn't think a lot of people saw that, right? Like as far as the opportunity to start merging things in real life as assets. And all that is just promoting your business, right? It's now someone owns that, right? You never know. They might be on Amazon and see this snow blower and buy it just because they was able to race it or saw it racing in Upland. And by the way, this is global, right? So if your main platform again disappears tomorrow, what would you actually still own? For me, if it happens, for first and foremost, I would still own this YouTube channel, my voice. So I would say trust. That's I'm talking about me. I hopefully I would still have trust with being sincere and real. Some type of list, right? Some type of list of people following my content, waiting to see what's next, because you never know. One of your community members might have an answer or alternative for something that you're looking to do that you didn't even know that presented itself, right? A prime example. Wow, I mean, just it happens, right? So at my game, one of my players' fathers have a clothing brand, right? So how this came up was I informed the father that I would not be at the last game of the year because I have a prior engagement in Virginia. We have a lock-in in Virginia, and I was just letting them know I'm going to meet up with my network, and we're going to have a lock-in where we're going to lock in a hotel intentionally and help each other build out ideas. Right? I'm excited about that. But he was like, "Wow!" It was like in the metaverse too, right? I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yo, I don't know if you know this right here. This me. I got a brand. I don't know if you see me around." I looked at the brand. I'm like, "I saw you around." I was like, "You know what? When I get back, we gotta definitely talk." Right? But again, it opens it opened up the door, right? Like I can show him. He don't. I can show him what I'm doing and what I've did with my brand and see if it interests him. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, move on. But the fact is, networking is key, and some brands don't even know what's out there. So again, are you becoming an architect of what you're trying to build in the metaverse, right? Me being an architect, I saw that as an opportunity to share with another creator how to get his product in front of a global audience and possibly create multiple streams of income in a metaverse game. All right, that you own, you sell, we keep 100% profit. Well, not 100% profit. You know, Upland make their platform fees, but it's reasonable. I'm telling you, it's reasonable. But again, every single thing that we create as a creator in Upland is a digital asset, is a NFT. That's powerful as a creator, right? So let's get to the mindset shift for my people in the metaverse. We have to shift from consumer of corporate stimulations to architect of decentralized realities, right? Think about the loop that we're in. We're caught up now, and it's a lot of people that's complaining about it right now, right? They have sales, UFC sales every week, every season. And somehow, some way, we still purchase said um, items because we need them. They're resources, right? But if you're just buying these items, hence, let's talk about it. The construction hub, for about 3 to 4 months, we've been buying structures that go on sale for a limited time for 3 days, right? 3 to 4 days. Blueprints of different structure. Got a t-shirt shop. We got a school. We got a city pool. We got the DMV. Different structures we could build in different properties, right? But they was only for a limited time. So after 3 days, if you didn't buy them with for USD, they're gone forever. So this happened perpetually for about 3 to 4 months. And most of us, we got structured serviced out, right? You know, how much was the structures, all three of them? If you get at least 39 dollars, a good $40. You got to remember this in the daily members active, it's like 10,000 members, daily members in Upland. So these things sell, man, pretty fast. But now the fact is they're opening a construction hub. And basically what this is in a nutshell is a blueprint shop. For those who don't have those structures, if they want to build these structures and they didn't buy them when they was out, they have to put a contract out in this hub for somebody to fulfill it, right? But the point is, for 3 to 4 months, we was caught up in a loop of spending money every week in the hopes of reselling these blueprints to new members when they come in, which is now here. But that's only one loop. It's a great loop, but I failed to tell you it's like 10 other loops going on, right? And we have to pick and choose. It's like real world, right? Literally, like it could be tens of thousands of things going on, different opportunities to buy this, we got that. But the fact is, yeah, it's one, yeah, it's a straight, it's like the real world, and it's a strategy. But again, we got to shift our minds from being a consumer of corporate stimulations to the architect of of a decentralized reality. So the way I brought that up to say, the way I was looking at it, I needed the blueprints. I had to invest in my business in Evergreen for HGF to have these blueprints to be able to provide anyone that needs them in the future. So, as the architect of my reality in Evergreen, if I bring people in and I have enough properties that eventually sell when it's time, they're going to need certain blueprints or they're going to want certain blueprints, right? And I'm going to have them. If I don't have them, I have members of my community inside of Upland, the Sea Heads, that have them. So it's a network that I created to provide a service in the future. In my mind, that's how I'm architecting my reality in Evergreen. It could be in well, dog. It could be so how I look at it, right? Everyone is not they're from different places, right? So they might not want to join Evergreen per se. Their city might be in Upland already open. However, if that's where they choose to go in our community, we still have to help them. So, but we are building an Evergreen, of course. But I understand their whole. Someone might want to build somewhere else. You know, DC is open in the game. Paris is open. So to be able to have those assets available to those in need is a system that I put in place. So, but you're right. You know, bring them all to Evergreen. Let's bring Evergreen up. You know, the builders community. So, then what else? Let me go ahead. I'm going long today, but one system, one feed systems, the other design systems. Decide which role you're playing, right? So we got to decide if we're going to be consumers, which grow, or architects that build. One builds systems. I'm sorry, one feeds systems. The other designs systems. As starting when I started Upland, we fed the system. Most of us continue to feed the system. What are we feeding it? We're just feeding it USD with no way of thinking of how we're going to put this together, right? Architects build. We take our resources and we build systems. We design systems. That's what I'm in a process of trying to do now with the Emerald Circle Live. This is part of my systems, right? From day one, I came in with a mindset of building a systems, the C heads. I'm trying to connect all this together because when I first got into Upland, it was kind of hard for me to get my thoughts out because I saw it, but it wasn't here. Now that it's catching up, I'm able to reference what I've been trying to do so you can see how it's connecting 45 years later. This isn't something that just happened overnight. Like this is intentional. I just had to wait for Upland to catch up with I could do, with what I wanted to do, right? So again, consumers scroll, the death scroll like we do on social media, but architects, we build. So stop asking for permission to exist. Stop asking. Decentralized spaces rewards builders who show up with intent, not approval. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Decentralized spaces reward builders who show up with intent, not approval. Anyone in Upland that won the player of the year or things of that nature, they didn't ask could they do it. They went out and did it. In the real world, creators, we don't sit back and wait for someone to ask us to create something. We have ideas and we put them into creation. So what's the difference in the metaverse, right? The decentralized platforms, they're not going to reward scrollers. I gave you the example that they had us go out there on Twitter and use Grok and use video and AI to do advertising for. A matter of fact, it wasn't just I don't think if they didn't have the contest that none of us would have did it. I didn't really get into it because I'm creating AI right now anyway, but um, I don't think most of y'all would have done it if they didn't have some type of reward. And after they announced the top 10 of who did it, a lot of y'all was mad. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's the system that's pulling the strings. It's a great system. I love Upland. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just sharing some, you know what I'm saying? I get it. It's fun, but I'm here to share a signal. And if you catch it, you catch it. If not, keep scrolling. All right. But it's a great signal. I love what Upland is doing, and it's showing me that this works for creators, right? They're very smart. But uh, where was I at? If you're a creator, if you have ideas, let's get going, man. Or ladies and gentlemen, let's get going because no one's going to help you. No one's going to pull you by the hand. Like even me, man. If you know me in Upland, I've given out a lot of information. I try to help a lot of people. I'm done with that. I'm not saying I won't help you, but I also understand like people don't value help unless some type of skin is in the game, whether it's time. And I see we have a few people on live now, and that's time, right? So if you're taking out your time right now and you're still here, I feel like you value that, right? But if I was just walking down the street and just start giving you free advice, whatever, you won't be looking at me like I'm crazy. So we gotta get, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't ask you for that, right? But you're here because you want to hear something. So that's time. So I appreciate your time. I value your time. And thank you for joining me today. I'm not done. I'm just saying I appreciate you, right? But it's time to build something, right? You don't have to wait for approval. If you have that feeling, get out there. What's up, Funky? If you have that feeling, just get out there and build. Like we're going to mess up. I've told a lot of y'all this story when I first started to see hits in the game that a particular individual told me, like, Coach, this is some bullshit. Um, no one's going to pay that value for that. You know, I don't think it's going to be a rug pull. It doesn't meet my eye. But whatever he said, you know what I'm saying. I thought it was funny. But the same person that said that won one, and to his to his what you want to say? I guess in his mind it wasn't worth at the time $50 to $100 for the NFT, but moving forward they sold out. So don't let no one be a dream snatcher. That's the moral of that little story. It's going to always be people telling you it might not work, but it might not work for them. If you feel the energy, if you have the idea synchronized to you, run with it. But just find people that will help you build that out, right? Every idea isn't for everyone. Every industry isn't for everyone. So if that's your calling, that's what makes you, sleep well at night and receive joy for creating, create it. It's not for me to understand your creation. It's for me to help you stay motivated to be able to produce your best product possible, right? And that's what creators do. We're not here to judge, we're here to help you move forward. So find the right network that will help you move forward with what it is you're doing, right? So let's get to it before we get lost. And last focus on this section is digital land is mental first, technical second. If you still think like a user, no tool would save you. So digital land is mental first. We talk about, you heard it, get some digital land. I'm flipping digital land, right? Digital land is very foundational because this is where you set up your infrastructure, right? This is your first digital presence in this new reality, right? And it's technical second. However, if you just look at this digital land like a user and not for the opportunity it presents you and what it could present to your brand, no tool will save you, right? If you're just looking at your property and like, and you're not visualizing, I mean, to my Metaverse fam in Evergreen, I got that cul-de-sac, right? I didn't have it all at once. I had to go out and buy it over years, right? But I had a plan. I saw that would be my hub for HGF. I brought that to reality, right? I end up getting all the properties in that cul-de-sac, and you see me building it up as my HGF headquarters in Upland, right? So I know that was a lot. Hopefully you can watch this video back, and extract some signals out of there. So we're going to kind of like detox and talk over this a little bit, right? So elimination to eliminate release. One second. Eliminate reliance on centralized platforms that use psychology as loops, right? So dopamine loops kills long-term builders. If your creativity depends on likes, you are programmable, right? And that's one thing that me and my LB fam have been learning. And that's why I'm doing these types of series, right? Because I know it's not the typical upland type content. This is what happened this week. It's enough of those shows, and there's nothing wrong with those shows. I love those shows. I've been on those shows. I watch them daily. Um, but that's not who I am, right? Yo, Vape, what's up, Vape? That's not. Matter of fact, speaking about one of those shows, welcome Vape, one of the community members, and he's a producer for one of those shows. So, and they do a wonderful job. And I just wanted to shout you out, Vape. I said that in the DMs, just between me and you. I'm proud of you, bro, because I seen the push. I seen where you came from, and yeah, man, I love you, bro. I'm proud of you. So, you got me messed up, man. I didn't even think you was gonna show up, but yeah, I appreciate you, right? But if your creativity depends on likes, you are programmable. And again, this is what we're learning in LB, right? It's not about how many people likes your content. It's about who it touches. Let me say that again. I'm going to go state it and sip, right? It's not about how many people that likes your content. It's about how many people your content touches. Think about that, right? I don't care if you like my content. What I care about if it touches you, you extracted some type of value from it. And from there, I have to, reflect on what I'm putting out there and try to improve it, right? Because this system will improve weekly. Nothing is finished. I'm messing up now, right? But again, this is me. And if you're scared, right, to get out there and start doing YouTube lives and things of that nature, man, look at these videos. I'm not perfect, but again, I'm willing to get started. I'm willing to be vulnerable. I'm willing to show you when I mess up, to be the example. I've been doing this long enough inside of Upland and outside of Upland that everything isn't perfect. The only perfect thing that we can do is to get started. And that's life, right? We have to figure out what it is we was meant to do, how we can integrate our brands inside of Upland or outside of Upland. You might be a person that created a brand in Upland and you want to re-engineer and bring it into real life, some type of way, right? And that could be a YouTube channel, that could be some merch, that could be a website or a membership site. But don't let none of these platforms control your creativity, right? We're not programmable. We are the architects. We create the programs. We create the systems. Don't get caught up in this matrix, right? Upland is going to do what Upland does. They're the corporate company, right? It's up to the community to keep our identity. And that's important where when Upland reaches the height that it can reach. Because right now, the institutional companies are not even in Upland right now. So we all have a short time to really hone in and infuse our brand before these big companies come in, right? So if Upland is going to go to where we want it to go, right? The institutional brands need to come in just like they did in the sandbox, right? And in Decentraland, right? We don't see that here yet. Upland is giving the creators the opportunity to establish themselves first. That's my perspective. That's what I see, and that's what I've been building, right? Because when the big money come in, most of us can't. Their marketing budget is bigger than our the salary we made from day one to now. I'm talking about years. Their marketing budget triples that. What can we do to keep up with that? Right? What we can do is infuse our brands in the community now. The community gravitates towards realness, right? And to whatever pulls them towards them and feels right without the institutions in here right now. Build your brand, start a YouTube channel, start posting on Instagram, start posting on X. So that was my fault. So um yeah, that flipped me out. I'm sorry. I heard myself. But this could where I'm at. All right, so detox. Sorry about that. I had a brain fart. Um so detox is strategic, right? This is not anti-tech. This is not a rejection, right? I'm not telling you to reject Upland. What I'm saying is to reallocate the energy to own systems. All right. Tr- We all say we don't want a business, we don't want to do this, but we're doing things in Upland that reference owning a business, right? So we need to reallocate our energy to what's important for us, whatever that may be, right? We need to focus on building some type of community or some type of list before it's too late. And what I mean by being shadow banned, there's been members in Upland that's been, we have a little place I ain't let y'all know. So in Upland, when you're naughty, since it's mapped to real world, they open up Alcatraz, the prison, right? And if you get kicked Upland, they send your avatar to Alcatraz and you can't participate, right? And in their Discord, they kick people out. So that's a way of, like I said, if you go against now, most of them, I will say, most of them deserves it. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? If they got shadow ban kicked out, most of them deserve it. However, it doesn't negate the fact that they still need their information too, right? So it could be things that you've been accused of. I'm not saying it happened, or you could be accused of, and you're shadow ban. So this goes back to if something happens to a platform, you get shadow banned or placed in Alcatraz in this particular metaverse. where's your community? How can you still communicate and build inside and outside without your list, right? So don't be so, even of Upland, my disclaimer is because I don't know your personality. I don't know if you're going to do the right thing, so I can't control that. But what I can control is the information that I give you, right? So make sure everything is not dependent on the platform. So, what platform, here's a reflection I want you to think about. So, what platforms control your behavior more than your vision? Appreciate you, Twilt. Appreciate you for showing up, man. Again, you could be a million and one places, but you're here with me tonight, and I value that. Um, what platforms control your behavior more than your vision? I can say Upland, they're not one of those. They're not one of those platforms that try to control your behavior more than they control our vision. They promote us to build out our vision, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to scare anyone that's outside of Upland about Alcatraz. This is where people that's multi-accounting, have more than one accounts. And again, Upland is a play to earn game. Over 7 years, the players have earned over $20 million in USD payouts from our creations, right? But it has to be something in place that for these bad actors. So Alcatraz is there. So in closing, we're almost done. I almost went an hour today. So in closing, the future is not a place you visit. It is a reality you construct. The metaverse is being built, whether you participate or not. Is here. Been in this game for over. I've been in this game for over 4 years, and Upland's been around for 7. So the metaverse is being built, whether you participate in it or not. And again, it's up to you if you get in or if you win. It's up to you to start architecting your reality before the institutions come in. The only question is whether you are an asset in the metaverse or an architect. Are you an asset or or an architect? Point number 2. Sovereignty starts with small owned moves. Sovereignty starts with small owned moves. One wallet, one avatar, one identity, and from there, momentum compounds. To gain your sovereignty, to start building your own reality, it starts with one wallet, one avatar, one identity, and from there, we momentum will compound. Forged inside the machine, not outside of it. Opting out is not rebellion. Again, opting out of some of these programmable loops in Upland is not a rebellion. It's not. Ownership is, right? So we're not opting out. We're not being rebellious. We're just moving that energy, those resources to become owners of our reality. If you're not building up these areas with structured services, meta ventures, factories, showrooms to build up your brand, what are you doing? You're waste. Never mind. I digress. I digress. So, final charge, right? Do not wait for the future to invite you. Don't wait for it. All right. Forge your sovereignty. Anchor your signal and build your world. Thank you for your time. This is Coach Funk. If you learned anything from this training tonight, this signal, like, subscribe, share. And if you feel the signal, man, do one thing. The link is in the bio. Everything starts on the free tier. It's the coach. Peace. See you next week.